Sheldon, first and foremost, I want to congratulate you on being selected this year in the IPL's draft to the Kolkata Knight Riders. Tell us that feeling. Tell us that moment. I know it's been a lot of hard work for you and a long time coming. So just tell us what that moment meant to you.
Actually, I have no words. I cannot express it. I was really very happy. We were practicing for the Vijay Hazare Trophy, and during our practices, our coach took away our phones. So just to keep our mind in the present and in the practice session. So once the practice session got over, I checked my phone, and yeah, I found that I was lucky this year and was really happy that all the hard work I've been doing since these past 3-4 years, it's finally paid off.
Did he just take your phone away for that day, or is that something that he's been doing, that he just takes the phones away?
No, he doesn't ever do that. But for that day, because he wanted me to concentrate, I wasn't batting very well during the practice sessions. So he wanted me, like to practice hard and to keep myself in the present. And if it had to happen, it would happen, whether the phone was with me or whether it wasn't with me. So that was his message to me.
Sheldon, Shady here. I just wanted to also congratulate you, brother. I wanted to know if who else was at the practice session that also got selected in the IPL. Was there anyone else, or was it just you?
From my team, it was only me. From the team that I represented this year, it was only me.
And what was the celebration like from the teammates once you told them, or did you even tell them on that particular day or moment?
Actually, everyone after the practice session, everyone got to know that. So they were just like, formally congratulating me and all, because of the COVID regulations and all. You cannot move out of your rooms nowadays.
Yeah.
So you have to stay in the bubble. So there were no, big celebrations and all. But yeah, I felt everyone was happy for me.
You talk about that, and obviously these are very interesting times, trying times during COVID, where you're either stuck in a room or you're not allowed to see friends or family oftentimes as well. Now, being at such a big moment for you in your career now, what have you been doing during the pandemic to make sure that when that opportunity came, you were ready to go? We see on social media you're very much into fitness. How did you make sure that you were prepared when that opportunity came?
See, we were left with no option. We knew sooner or later or down the line that the lockdown is about to happen. So before the lockdown, how you equip yourself or how you keep yourself ready for the lockdown, I feel that was going to matter a lot for the season to come. So before that, I set up my own gym at home, because that was the best I could do, because you cannot move around, or you were basically locked up in your own house. And during those 3 months of lockdown, every day, literally every day, I worked out, trying to keep my body fit and make myself a little bit more stronger, so that when the season comes, I don't need another 2 or 3 months, to get myself ready. So those 3 months have helped me a lot. And when the season came, actually, I could see the difference in my body and a little bit in my mindset as well. Yeah, so I can say that the lockdown helped me. And all the workouts, that I did, or all the efforts that I put in during the lockdown, I could see it help me in the season this year.
Sheldon, I wanted to ask about your fitness regime. Like, I'm a strength and conditioning coach myself. So I wanted to know that, during that time in lockdown, obviously limited resources, right? What was the focus of your training? Was it more mobility? I know I'm not saying you're an older guy, but you're a little bit older. And what were the things that you were doing to keep that body fit and ready? Was it more mobility, stability? Was it more power training? What was the training like?
During the second half of the lockdown, I started working with Arjun Basu, who is to be one of the most educated trainers going around in the Indian circuit at the moment. So I spoke to him about a couple of things. He took 3 or 4 days to understand my body, and he gave me such programs, that would make my body stronger, and it would make me a little bit more flexible. Because as you grow older, you tend to lose a little bit of strength and you become tighter. You become tight. You don't recover very well. So everything surrounding my body, he made such programs for me, and he's been very kind enough for me. He just helped me, not professionally, but on a personal note, he's helped me, And I'm very thankful to him. Like throughout those, it's been 6, 7, 8 months now, almost a year now. He's been helping me, and I can really see the results on my body, and I'm really feeling strong and good at the moment.
That for me was the best answer, because for our listeners and all the young cricketers out there, having an understanding of your body and working with a professional who can actually identify what imbalances there are in one's body and what sort of training program needs to happen in order to maintain that body or to improve on those imbalances. So from a professional cricketer like yourself, right, we're hearing what the new sort of targets are in fitness, whereas maybe 3-4 years back, you would have been clean and jerking and squats and push-ups and all that kind of stuff, which is not necessarily ideal for the modern professional athlete, right? The idea is to keep your body in check so that you can play on the field and perform in your sport.
Exactly. Coming back to what you're saying, you're right. So you're talking about 3-4 years down the line. I'm talking about last year. Till last year, I never understood my body, how it works and how much time it needs to recover. I was deadlifting 130, 40 kilos last year, but I thought that, like to be strong or to look strong, you need to do that. But it was Arjun who actually, made me understand that even if you lift 50% of that weight, but if you do it with a good intensity and in the correct form, that would help you more rather than you lifting 130 and 40. And there are more chances of you hurting yourself or hurting your back, and you'll be out of the game either for good or for long. And at this stage of my career, if I get injured, then there's a very less chance of me making a comeback from there. If I was like 20, 22, I still have the time. At this stage, I don't have the luxury of time. So it's very important for every cricketer to understand, basically every athlete, and to understand their body and to work with a professional. Because ultimately, if you work with a professional, you are earning some kind of revenue and you're spending it and investing it on yourself.
100%. 100%.
It's interesting that that's kind of, it's taken a little bit of while for you to come to that understanding, but that understanding really helped you at the beginning of the cricket season this year, because you really came out with a bang. You scored your first T200 in the Saeed Mushtaq Ali tournament. Tell us about that 100 and that feeling, all that hard work during lockdown and over the last couple of years. Did that really kind of bring everything together with that 100 this year?
See, the lockdown, it put me in such a place that I had nothing else to do except for taking care of my family, for providing my family and thinking about me and my game. So I was in a very clear state of mind that I know I don't have a lot of time left with me, but whatever time I have left, I want to play quality cricket. I have the capability in me. I have the talent in me. I am putting in the hard work. Then what's stopping me from going there or from reaching that level? Every year, it's just when the IPL happens, just sitting on the bed with the remote in your hand and watching the IPL and feeling sorry for yourself, it was not going to help me anymore. I had to do something different. I had to, put in, if I was working hard, I had to work harder, because basically in India, everyone works hard. Cricket is not a sport in India. It's more than a religion in India. People play the game not with their brains, but with their hearts over here, because they are so very emotionally attached to the sport. So if someone was working hard, I had to work harder, but keep it to myself. I could not come out loudly showing it to everyone that, yes, I am working harder than you. I am putting in the more efforts and the extra efforts than everyone else. I was doing it and I was keeping it to myself, that what I was doing. I spoke to one of my batting coaches named Apurva Desai. So I said that I want to make a difference. I have been doing well. I have around 25, 26 centuries in BCCI cricket, but I don't have one century in a T20 match, in a T20 game. And I think I am capable of doing it, but why it's not happening? So he was very clear that to score a century, you at least have to bat 50 balls, 50, 60, 50, at least 45 to 50 balls you have to bat. Only on a blessed day, you will score a century in 30 to 35 balls. Yeah. So you have to put in the effort of staying on the wicket for 50 balls at least. Previously, what I was doing, I was just going and rather than batting with my body, I was trying to bat, trying to prove that I am the best T20 player. I want to be the best T20 and go slam bam from ball one, but that was not working for me. I was doing something that doesn't come naturally to me. So again, I needed someone to come and, to show me my game, to give me a better understanding of my game. So at that moment, Apurva Desai showed me that. And from there on, we started working towards that, because somewhere down the line, we knew to have the multi-day Ranji Trophy was going to be difficult because of the pandemic and because of the lockdowns and all.
Yeah.
So we knew that there will be white ball. And if I want to make an impact, I really have to do well in white ball. So yeah, that's how everything started. And once I got the 100, I was relieved that basically, if I can put it in words, that I felt like I achieved everything. That the only thing that I never had till date was a T20 100. And I wanted that badly. And I'm lucky that came on that day and in the live match.
Where does that rank in terms of the hundreds? So you talk about how proud you were and how hard you worked for that. But it seems like now, especially in India, IPL is the pinnacle. It seems like there is Indian Test cricket, and obviously every child growing up wants to play Test cricket for India. But the IPL is where you're going to make longevity in your career and get financial freedom, really, as a cricketer. So all that hard work, where does that T200 rank for you in terms of everything that you've done so far in your career?
See, that I would not say that's the best 100 that I've scored, but that's among the best, because that was while chasing.
Yeah.
That was the 100 that I scored was from a lesser team against a stronger team. And plus, if I'm not wrong, please correct me, I guess we chased down the world record, I think, of chasing 227 or 228.
Yeah.
That's what I'm not very sure about that. But so it's definitely right up there. But I have scored better hundreds as well.
It's also the timing of things, right? It might not be your most fluent 100, but it's the timing of it with everything going on during a pandemic, coming back out of cricket and scoring that 100. And you guys also beat Mumbai this year as well in the Saga League. That must have had a little bit of extra. That might have made you smile a little bit more beating Mumbai this year as well.
Yeah, beating Bombay or beating Mumbai basically is a big thing for a lesser team, because that gives the team big hopes.
Yeah.
That yes, today we have done it, we can even come back and do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And not only Mumbai, we can do that against any team, because Mumbai is right up there when it comes to domestic teams. So yeah, it put a smile on all of our faces and gave us hope, yes, we can do it today and we can do it tomorrow as well.
Yeah. And again, I think it's bigger teams are expected to win, right? They're expected to win every single day. And it's just when they win, it's not as good. It's nice, but it's when the smaller team wins, it seems like it's one of the best things in the world. And again, beating a top team like Mumbai or Bombay,
when the smaller teams win, they get people talking.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I want to talk to you about, the years that you weren't a part of the IPL. You were with RCB, you were with Kolkata at the beginning. You got a few chances, but again, not the chances that you would have hoped for. Were there times kind of in that gap where you were doubting your ability or doubting yourself, and how did you come through that to be like, no, I am good enough to be at that level, and I'm going to prove to everybody? I see on your shirt you say you have nothing to prove, but during those years you had to prove to people that you were capable of playing at the top level.
Certainly, when you come into such a tournament and there's so much of talent around you, and not necessarily there are many players who you see that much more talented than you. So when you see them play, at times you do feel that, do I belong here? And if I belong here, what more do I need to do to match their level? If I can't match their level, at least I have to reach next to their level. So at times, and I feel it's very human and it's human nature to feel that. I feel every cricketer or every athlete goes through that phase in their life when I was not a part of the IPL, I guess 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
For the first 2 years, I was like very hard on myself, thinking, that I deserve to be there. And I became very aggressive that I should be there and I'm not there. And later on, I realized that was only harming me, because I was just sitting and sulking, and I realized no one was showing up to my pity parties. It was only me ultimately. And to get me out of that phase, it took me another year to understand myself and to understand, that sulking is not going to help me. All I have to do is just, keep my mind and body in the right direction, train my mind and train my body, so that whenever there's that slightest opening, I don't even look to open that. I just break the door.
Yeah.
Whenever. That could be this year, that could be next year, that could come 5 years down the line, whenever. But just keep working, try to improve 1% every year. And if you try to improve 1% every year, that's 5, 6, 7% when you get your chance.
It's very rare that you have that mindset, because a lot of people, when they get dropped, hence the name of our podcast, try to blame other people, say, hey, they're out to get me, or it's a personal reason. Whereas you took it as though, no, it's on me to make sure that I'm doing everything right. So when that opportunity knocks again, I have to break through that door. It took you a little bit of time, but again, that's the way you looked at it. You don't come from a big town, right? You're born in Bhavnagar, and then you ended up moving to Mumbai. So tell us about your cricket journey coming up, and the move to Mumbai to say, hey, if I'm going to chase cricket, that's where I have to do it.
Actually, it's funny, I went to Mumbai for cricket. I went to study over there because my parents were not very financially sound. So I had a brother. I am the brother, and I have an elder sister. So they could not afford to keep both of us at the same time. And in Mumbai, there's a Christian institute that, used to give scholarship to any Christian students who used to get above 65 and 70% in education. Not sports, and education. So during my primary school days, I was very bright in education. So I got admission over there for the scholarship. It was a hostel. I was there for around 4 to 5 years. And till then, cricket was not in my life. I was just a cricketer who used to play cricket as something to pass the time. Yeah. So going to Mumbai, it was difficult because I was away from my mother for 5 years. I used to see her around once a month a year. 12, 11 months I used to be in the hostel. So it was tough, but yeah, that toughness that I have in me, I guess I picked it up from there. Like living with 80, 90 boys in one dormitory. You have to be really tough to survive over there, or else you end up washing other people's socks.
You didn't have any Mohabbat moments with a girls' hostel across the.
Not at all. I was too small to have Mohabbat moments.
But when was the moment that you said, I want to take cricket seriously? Growing up, was there a moment that stands out in your mind that says this was the moment you decided to take it seriously?
Yeah, when I came back from Mumbai, back to Bhavnagar, that was a time, like, my mother and my uncle, they enrolled me into this club called Pausinji Cricket Club, where I still go to practice.
Wow.
So there were the under 14 state selections over there. And I went as a bowler over there, a bowling all-rounder. And apparently the wicket-keeper never came up that day. He fell sick or something. And the coach just told me, just wear the gloves and just stop the balls. And while stopping the balls, he saw, I don't know what he saw in me. He saw something in me, and he selected me as a wicket-keeper. I used to bat number 9, 10.
Yeah.
And from there, then I thought, like, okay, this is the first year that I've gone for some professional trials and I've got picked. So let me continue with it. Let's see how it goes. I was still 13, 14 then. And that was at 14. For a 14-year-old boy to generate some money, that was the only way.
Sheldon, did you have like a natural athletic ability from a young age? Coordination, other sports? Were you thriving in other sports as well and playing other sports?
The school I was in, Bombay, there it was compulsory to play all the sports. Like, we had football for 3 months, we had hockey for 3 months, we had cricket for 3 months, and we had athletics for 2 months. So whether you like it or you don't like it, you had to participate and play in the sports. So during my time over there and playing all these sports, I developed, that strength in my muscles at a very young age.
Yeah.
Because 3 months you're playing football, then you're playing hockey, then you're playing cricket. All these sports use different muscles in your body.
Yeah.
And then the last 2 months, you're just running around because of the athletics. Yeah. So that's how actually I developed myself over there, knowingly or unknowingly. It was more unknowingly, but that's how I got this into me.
Did you get your first tattoo in the Christian school there, or did you have to wait a little bit?
No. I got my first tattoo, I guess, when I was 22, 23.
It seems like tattoos are now a big part of Indian cricket. You never saw VVS Lakshman or maybe, I guess, Vinod Kambli was the first one to really kind of get that going. But it seems like it's a part of Indian cricket now.
I'll tell you guys a story as well. That so Sheldon, I spent some time in India in 2004 at the LB Shastri Academy alongside Gautam Gambhir, who we'll talk about that in a second. But when I first showed up there, I was 18 years old and I had some tattoos, and this is back in 2004. So, when I first got there and was wearing a tank top for the field training, everybody was looking at me, like, who is this guy with all these tattoos and everything? Yeah. Everybody would come up and they tried to, scratch it off my arm to see if it was real or not. And it was amazing to see that over the years, especially now, how Indian cricketers or just Indians in general are able to express themselves without being judged. So I wanted to ask you about your tattoos, and are they? I'm sure everybody has a personal reason for tattoos and meaning. Can you tell us a little bit about yours and what tattoos sort of meant for you at age 24 and how you're able to express yourself?
The first one I just got it out of a curiosity, because
like all of us.
Yeah. I thought it pains a lot, so I said, okay, let me try. So I just got mine done by an amateur. Then later on, I started developing, like, if you have to have a tattoo, it has to have a meaning, or else it makes no sense just, scribbling anything on your body and it's going to stay with you lifetime. So then I got my mother's name imprinted on me. Then I got my pet's name. And then I got a lion family. And yeah, it's still going on, and I still plan to get 2 or 3 more.
Nice, man. Can you tell us about your relationship with Gautam Gambhir?
My relationship with him, to be honest, I find him like a father figure, like an elder brother in my life, because he was the one who actually spot me and picked me in KKR for the first time when I was just playing first class cricket. And after that, for those 3-4 years when I was in KKR, he has supported me to the most. He knew where I come from. He knew everything about me. And till date, whenever I have any doubts in my mind regarding my life or regarding my game, I don't hesitate to drop him a text saying I'm feeling this or this. And it's still very kind of him, with the position he is in his life at the moment. Whenever he gets time, he will always make it a point to reply. And I'm always grateful to that man for whatever he's done in my life. I'm very grateful for.
You always need those mentors in your life. We talk about it in business sense all the time. Every CEO of a business has a mentor that they look up to for advice. And for a cricketer, it's the same thing. You're the CEO of your own game, but you need that mentor to help guide. And Gautam Gambhir is one. Who are the others that you look up to, and you'd say that you kind of compare your game to when it comes to both your batting and your keeping?
I don't compare myself to anyone, because the day I start comparing myself to anyone, I'll be very relaxed. I've always
and you'd be second best, because you'd be second best. Yeah, great answer.
Yeah. I've always thought that everyone who plays this sport is better than me. So if he's better than me, I have to do something better than him to reach that place. So that keeps me motivated and that keeps me hungry. The day I start comparing myself that, oh, I'm better than him or I'm as good as him, I'll start getting relaxed then. And I don't want to get relaxed in this sport, because this sport, it's like a jealous girlfriend. The day you don't pay attention to it, it will walk off with someone else.
Yeah.
So I want to keep my girlfriend with me till the time I play, at least.
Don't let your wife know that.
He's okay with
it. But it's interesting because when you say that, there's certain cricketers that stand out that have done it in their own way. You're obviously one of them. Another one that I want to quickly talk to you about is Cheteshwar Pujara, who, when you come to this, who's making an IPL comeback very similar to yourself this time around. What do you think makes cricketers like himself and yourself a little bit different than everybody? Because you've gone about the game your own way. You haven't tried to copy anybody else, and you said, I'm going to be the best version of myself, and that's what's going to help me succeed.
See, knowing Pujara since I was 13 or 14, it's been 20 years now. What makes him stand out from the crowd or from the rest is his mindset, his dedication, and everything in his life rotates around cricket. Everything in his life. And with today's age and in today's generation, it's very hard, to maintain that lifestyle. Yeah. And because he has maintained that lifestyle, he has even benefited in the sport with heaps and bounds. Today, if I may say, he's India's best test batsman. Sure. No matter, that could be South Africa, England, wherever he goes, he performs in his own way, in his own limitations, and his own strengths. His limitations also are his strengths. His mind is so strong. You'll never see him, clustered, or you'll never see him take a single wrong step. He's so strong in his mind. And that's what makes him stand out. One thing, if I would always want to learn from him, is how he keeps himself so calm in every situation. I've never ever seen him, hesitant, or never ever seen him out of place, no matter where he goes or no matter what he plays. That's one quality that I would always want to take away from him.
Have you asked him about that? What does he say to that? Because, like in Australia, and I'm sure you were watching in Australia when he got hit on the head, I think like 3 or 4 times and on the elbow, but he was just so calm. Did you ask him about that ever?
So recently, I've not spoken to him because now we both play for different teams.
Yeah.
But whenever I batted with him, and I'll tell you one thing also, he's the best batting partner I've ever batted with. Because when you bat with him, there's never any pressure on you. No one cares about you that you're at the non-striker end. Everyone just tries to get him out, and they're so focused on him that everyone forgets that, okay, that there's another player also batting there along with him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's the best for me.
What are you like in the middle when you're batting? There's certain people that are very nervous and they want to talk about every little thing. There's certain people that like to sing songs out in the middle. What are you like out in the middle when you're batting?
See, I'm always nervous, because if the nervousness is not there, that means you're satisfied, or that means, you're not human, I guess.
Yeah.
Every human or every cricketer will feel nervous. Some may feel it for a small time, some may feel it for a longer bit, but everyone feels that nervousness. So when batting with him, especially, there's a lot of information shared, mostly from his side, because that's the point that, I just shut my mouth and listen to him, because I know whatever comes from him is going to benefit me if I listen to him. And most of the time it has. But yeah, I'm a very quiet person when I bat. I don't like to, talk a lot or basically sing a song or something like that. I'm very quiet. I'm very to myself when I'm batting.
Does it annoy you when the other guy is not? Like you have players in your team that like to talk and like to sing and things like that. Does you kind of just stay away from them a little bit in the middle?
It does annoy me, but then eventually I have learned with time that everyone is different.
Yeah.
So during that time, what best I can do for myself, I try to do that.
Yeah. That's we've got, so Shady's one of those who he doesn't even like talking in the middle. He like just he stays on his side, and you stay on yours. You try to go meet him in the middle. He's like, no, go back.
I do all my talking off the field.
I saw you take a sip of a Red Bull right there, so I want to talk about that. Andrew Flintoff used to say, and by the way, the reason I bring up Andrew Flintoff is because he's my favorite cricketer of all time.
Okay.
He said that he used to drink 3 to 4 Red Bulls a day on game days as you take a sip of your Red Bull. You're obviously a Red Bull ambassador. How many Red Bulls are you drinking these days? And does it keep you going, or does it change from game day to game day? How do you work with your Red Bulls?
I'm not a Red Bull ambassador. I'm basically supported by Red Bull. And yeah, I drink a lot of Red Bull, to be very honest. I drink more Red Bull than I drink water. So on a game day, if I'm very tired, it can even go up to 4 to 5. Basically, once I start sipping it since I jump into the bus, and when I come back to the room, the first thing that I need is a can of Red Bull. I basically feel that if I have that with me, it keeps me very alert. It keeps my brain open. It doesn't let me feel dull or, like the fatigueness in the body.
Yeah.
It keeps that away. I feel that. So yeah, I always have that with me.
I wonder what would happen to Pujara if he drank a Red Bull.
I wonder too.